Love Boat becomes a garbage scow will not be seen at this time so that we can bring you the following polluted program.
BBC Sounds. It's Breaking the News with Des Clarke.
I am Des Clarke and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. And this week we are coming to you from the heart of the Glasgow International Comedy Festival. As always, I'm joined by four fantastic comedians. On my right, we have Tiff Stevenson and Billy Kirkwood. And up against them are Janie Godley and Chris Thorburn. In the news this week, Indonesia is investigating a local airline after both pilots were found to have fallen asleep for 28 minutes mid-flight. The incident came to light after passengers raised the alarm and the pilots tried to hit snooze. Diane Abbott has accused the Common Speaker of failing democracy by not allowing her to speak during a debate focused on racist and misogynist comments about her. Sir Lindsay Hoyle has since apologised for his mistake, saying, "I'm very sorry, I thought she was in the SNP." And several frog species are being threatened by France's appetite for frogs' legs. EU experts have warned. French Ambassador Philippe Henry refuted the claim, saying it was based on lazy stereotyping before storming out in a beret to seduce his best friend's wife. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Tiff and Billy, can you tell me what this is all about?
Podcaster and royal commentator
Jason Leitch has announced he's standing down as the
Princess of Wales.
He'll leave the post next month after 9 years in the job. Jason Leitch played a prominent role in government communications during the COVID pandemic, often representing
The social media trolls, idiotic conspiracy theorists and sniping media critics.
Well, where do you start with that? OK, I'm going to start with you, Billy. Can you pick out our first story, please?
Could it be Kate Middleton's Mother's Day picture?
The Princess of Wales has apologised for confusion over edits to a newly released photo, which was pulled by several major photo agencies over concerns the image was manipulated. It's now being questioned whether Kate may have photoshopped previous official royal photos, such as last year's family holiday to Jurassic Park.
It's not the only one, though, because I found out about a controversial photoshopping that had taken place in the past. You remember when the Queen had tea with Paddington Bear?
Billy.
The Queen wasn't even there!
Tiff, what do you think about this then? This story's been everywhere. What is actually going on?
We're already running all the scenarios, like, is she's Henry VIII's wife? Is she divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, alive? We don't know what's going on because she hasn't been seen. We want proof of life. We want this week's Grazia and her thoughts on the celebrity Big Brother evictions. That's what we need. And supposedly, if you're in Associated Press, you're not supposed to put out images that have been digitally altered. I guess that's one of the other questions as well, is like, what's going on? How come everyone printed this photo when there's like cloned hands and bits of clothing missing and everything else? So, yeah.
It's weird, I'm even in the picture.
You look lovely in it, Janie, I have to say.
A suitable Fair sweater.
Is it you at Troon?
Talk to me about this then, Janie. Can we sort this out? What do you think's actually going on here?
Obviously, it's just fan the flames of where is Kate. I genuinely hope Kate is working at a Little Chef in Middlesbrough. I hope that's what she's doing. I hope she's went, you know what, I'm sick of all this. See your wains and your hussies and your horses and your dugs and everything else you've got. I'm done. I hope she's put on a tabard and headed to the Little Chef.
Well, that sorts it. Chris, one of the biggest stories of the year. It still rumbles on, but what is going on here?
Well, I think, the simplest explanation is almost always the correct one. So everybody's fixating on, one of the arms, like the sleeve, looks like it's sort of disappearing. Obviously, in the time that Kate's been missing, she's traveled back in time. She's altered the past so that our parents never met. Now the space-time continuum has been irrevocably altered, and the children are disappearing. That's what's happening. I mean, I'm sorry, but if the royal family were genuinely any good at Photoshop, you don't think Andrew would have been all over that? Like, you fix that
one. One of the criticisms throughout this whole Photogate thing is, if it had been Meghan that had did that, everybody would be up to high dole. If it had been her that done it, there would have been this terrible outcry. So you've got that double standard of Kate deserves all the privacy she can get because she's just come through a big operation. I literally had a hysterectomy, and 2 days later, 9 people had to look up my cervix. So it's not always the way. It's not always the way.
They didn't even work in the hospital.
I know.
On a bus.
Oh, dear. We were, of course, talking about Catherine Middleton and Picturegate. Yes, Kate Middleton's recent lack of public appearances has finally been explained. As it turns out, she spent the last few weeks getting her HND in Photoshop at Cardonald College. And there we go, Tiff and Billy, you get 2 points for that. It was, of course, the royal Photoshop gone wrong. Right, over to you, Janie and Chris. What was the other story we were after?
It was definitely Jason Leitch stepping down.
You heard that, and that is the right answer. Yes, this week it was announced that Professor Jason Leitch, Scotland's National Clinical Director who saw the nation through the COVID pandemic, is stepping down from the role. The civil servant said it had been an enormous privilege to serve in the position from 2015, including, of course, during the coronavirus lockdowns. In fact, during the pandemic, Jason Leitch was a regular every tea time in our house until my mum started locking the back door.
Hey!
Let's talk about Jason Leitch. What do you make of him stepping down this week?
I've been going back, watching all of his old videos, like, the announcements he would do during lockdown, like telling people, like, exercise is not leisure, all right? Like, these are allowed. Football, basketball, these are not allowed. Hide and seek, heads down, thumbs up,
So, Billy, what do you think then? Professor Jason Leitch is stepping down.
He's not my favourite. I mean, everyone had their favourite kind of scientific advisor. I used to love a Chris Whitty when he would turn up because he was always a good laugh. He's always a good laugh, was Chris. He always had that look like, why are we saving these nuggets? What are we?
Tiff, what about you? What do you make of Jason Leitch stepping down, Tiffany?
Well, I like when they announced it, they said the qualified dentist who's worked for the Scottish Government since 2007. And I was like, I'm glad they told me he's qualified.
Yeah.
I'm sick of all of these amateur dentists getting the breaks. Listen, if you tell me someone's a dentist, I'm going to assume they're qualified. I'm going to assume they're not tying a piece of string around a kid's tooth and onto a doorknob to pull it out.
Well, Jason Leitch was a big figure in our lives about 4 years ago or so. Will he be fondly remembered? What do you think, Janie? Will he be fondly remembered?
I don't know if it's fondly, but I think people have that image in their head of when we had the pandemic, and there was Nicola, and there was Jason, and there was always that guy who come on the news, like, are we allowed to fly a kite every second Wednesday? There was always some bam with a stupid question. Like, I've only got one roller skate, I'm allowed to put my 1 foot in it on a Tuesday. I think we'll think back fondly and remember those bits.
I remember there was a point, like, in the height of lockdown when I got a text from my friend who just texted me saying, like, is it just me or is Jason Leitch a bit sexy? And I was like, oh God, we need to reopen the schools.
I had those texts. I had a couple of folk went all out on Jason Leitch during...
No, old Leitchy.
Like, I've got his action figures, of course.
I think I will remember anyone fondly in comparison to Boris Johnson during that time period. Yeah. Like, I literally remember watching it. I came up with a new term for him, actually. You know how he would get up on the podium, but you know how he purposefully, like, messed his hair up before going on camera to tell yet more misinformation? I started calling that mopaganda.
Chris, what do you think? Professor Jason Leach is stepping down, but what should he do next?
I think he'd make a cracking bathroom attendant. You know?
Yeah.
Because like half the time, like when I'm in like a bar or a club, like I don't know why they're there, what they're doing. Like, oh, would you like some Lynx Africa in your face, or like would you like the most unhygienic bowl of mints you've ever seen? Whereas he'd be like, hang on, have you washed your hands? All right, okay, lock the door. We're not leaving until you've done 2 happy birthdays.
We were talking, of course, about Professor Jason Leach, who is stepping down from his role as National Clinical Director. After making the announcement, Jason Leach returned home to find hundreds of people queuing outside his door, having just heard the news of a dentist becoming available. Yes, well done, Janie and Chris. You get 2 points for that. That was the mashup of some royal photo editing and Professor Jason Leach stepping down, meaning at the end of the round, the teams are all square. Now, much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about, we spoke to 2 friends of the show, broadcaster and actor Grant Stott and BBC Scotland reporter Hope Webb. So, Janie and Chris, what do you think our Grant is on about here?
I am all for this. A friend and I were discussing how we were perhaps letting things go, both physically and mentally. So we got up and formed our very own gentlemen's walking club, and the benefits that we got out of that were fantastic.
There's this 10-week course that you can go on that apparently leads to better mental health.
That's a brilliant answer. Well done, Chris. Yes, it's the story of a new study suggesting that regular mental exercise, such as keeping a journal or speaking to strangers, can have a genuine effect on your well-being. Students who were shown a range of happiness hacks were found to have better mental well-being 2 years later, but only if they'd kept using them. As part of a 10-week Science of Happiness course, students at the University of Bristol were also shown evidence that talking to strangers tends to make people happy, despite most of us shying away from such encounters. Well done for getting the right answer. Would you like to go on a happiness course?
No, tell you right now, no. I think that you make your own happiness, and I do love the idea of completely speaking to strangers. This is Glasgow. Strangers speak to you all the time. Yeah. When I was in the hospital, this shows you what happiness is. When I was in the hospital recovering, I was sitting crying. This is Glaswegians for you. Sitting crying in my hospital bed, proper crying, bubbles and everything. Like, that kind of cry. You know, that bit in the middle? That bit. And the wee old woman popped the curtain back and she went, "Shut up! I've all got cancer, I'm trying to read a book." I'm like, okay, I'm dead sorry. I'll just sit here and cry quietly. Try and keep it down.
A lot of the things that are mentioned in this course are things that I sort of do already, you know, like journaling and meditating and yoga has been suggested, although that was ruined for me slightly when I think it was during lockdown, myself and my husband were doing yoga with Adrian, and like in one of the poses I really let rip with a massive fart. And then the moment after I did it, Adrian on screen went, "Just breathe in and enjoy the air around you." It was such perfect timing, but I think I ruined yoga forever after that. So,
Go on then. What makes you happy?
One of my favorite things that picks me up is, so I live with my wife, and now I'm able to steal her shampoo whenever I like, because this is something I didn't realize until I moved in with a lady. Ladies get to smell like stuff, you know, like men's shower gel, we're just allowed to smell like different types of metal. Like, according to Lynx, you can smell like chocolate, a spaceship, or Africa. But like my wife's shampoo, it's all summer fruits, elderberries, you know, you smell like a bag of Skittles, and you feel like a goddess, you know, like, it's amazing.
That's lovely. Of course that makes you happy. Yeah. Billy, come on then. Share the love. What makes you happy?
It doesn't happen as much as it used to, but you see correct change. Oh, I'll dine out in that. That's £4.57. I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. Yes. Walking out of Asda high-fiving people. Come on.
There you go. Hacks to keep you happy is the right answer. Well done, Janie and Chris. Now to you, Tiff and Billy. It's your turn. What do you think Hope is talking about here?
I love the joy and celebration of everything to do with our culture. I would be in line at this place, and I think people underestimate the draw of a flat sausage.
the place that's opened up just 5 minutes down the road from me, selling Scottish scran.
That is correct. This is the news of a Scottish delicatessen that has become the toast of North London. I love that the laugh comes from Scottish delicatessen. You'll love the name. It's called Old Hag the Shop. Listen to the menu. It serves up the likes of Stornoway black pudding, Lorne sausage, tatty scones, smoked fish fair broth, Highland venison, Cullen skink, Glasgow rolls, Dundee cake and Aberdeen butteries. And it's been inundated since it opened its doors last month in Islington. Owner Greg Boyd said that he wants to give the English a feeling of what it's like to be Scottish. So he refuses to accept any of their money. I love this. Tiff, well done for getting the right answer.
I mean, it's. I'm not surprised at all because we've been sort of saying for ages, how come there isn't any? There was like a Scottish Italian that opened near us, which is perfect because my husband is Scottish Italian. He's passionate, doesn't like to talk about it.
Are you surprised, Billy, at the success of this?
No. I've got family that live down in London. I've got family that live in New Zealand. You can't get Caledonian delicacies.
That's what my husband says, trying to tempt me into the bedroom. While we look at the Caledonian delicacies.
I'll bring Janie in here. Are you surprised, or could you think, yeah, I could see that working?
Absolutely see it working. I'll tell you what, see if they sell a piece in mince. I'm moving in.
Love it. Chris, I'll bring you in here. We're talking about this amazing place, Old Hag the Shop, a huge hit in Islington. Are you surprised to hear of this success?
I'm pleasantly surprised. I find the name a little bit confusing. They call it the Shop, and I've never really heard anybody call the shop the Shop. I thought the Shop was something that Sean Connery drops in the shower.
It's a big success in London, and well done to the people behind the Shop. It is storming it there in Islington, representing Scottish cuisine. Of course, people claim Scottish cuisine is unhealthy, but my granddad ate it every day, and he made it to 97. It's not that impressive. He was born in 61. Yes, well done. A Taste of Scotland in London is the right answer, and 2 points go to Tiff and Billy. You're listening to Breaking the News from BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clarke. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Tiff and Billy, you're first this time. Who is this?
I don't want to complain. I've had a really, really great time, and I've, achieved so much and had, really, really brilliant experiences. But I do feel like I've been misrepresented in lots of ways.
This is Lily Allen.
This is musician and actress Lily Allen, who said that having children ruined her career and rejected the idea that people can have it all. When asked in the Radio Times podcast if she had to rethink her career strategy after having children, Allen replied, "I never really have a strategy when it comes to career, but yes, my children ruined my career," adding, "It really annoys me when people say you can have it all because, quite frankly, you can't." But is Lily Allen right then? Do you have to choose between a career or kids?
I don't know. I think she's just moaning for moaning's sake. I mean, we've all had those days where you turn and go, those Waynes, oh my God. I woke up the other day with my wee boy trying to put his bits in my ear when I was asleep.
What are you talking about, his Caledonian delicacies?
Yes, Caledonian delicacies.
Tiff, what do you make about this? Is Lily right? Do you have to choose between a career and kids?
I think it is about accepting that maybe you can have the things, but you're going to have them at different times. You can't have it all at once. But also, what's frustrating about it is it has kind of launched into this debate, and no one's going, can men have it all? We are just like putting this on women again. It's now become like they were rowing on a TV program the other day of going, well, women shouldn't be going to work because, you know, you can't have two parents at work and stuff. So it seems to have then become a regressive conversation rather than the interesting conversation, which is about what women are being told they can have and achieve, and actually is the support network in place for that? Do we have a society and a government and businesses that will help mums get back into work?
Let's take it to the other team. Janie, I'll start with you. Is Lily right? Do you have to choose between a career and kids?
I echo a lot of what Tiffany says. I am a woman who had a child, and I'll tell you, it was hard being a stand-up comedian, especially in the 90s when there wasn't many female stand-ups about, and being a mother. And I don't regret for a minute. The good thing I did is Ashley became a comedian as well. So I think if you make your kids the same career as you can get around it. You can bring them to work, they can work, and you can work at the same time. But yeah, it does feel a wee bit slapping women down, and I know that there is men listening saying, no, I take full responsibility for my child the way my wife does. Yeah, if that was true, you wouldn't have time to have another family in another town. Why you never see women going, I'm going to trap a man in the basement. We've no time for that. That's why women never build a basement and trap a guy. The only time a woman would build a basement and trap a man was if he was a spare joiner or electrician.
Chris, I'll get your thoughts on this then. You've heard what Lily Allen has said. Do you think Lily Allen is right? Do you have to choose between a career or kids?
I don't think you need to choose between having like a great career and having kids. I mean, look at me. I chose neither.
Very well. Well done, yes. 2 points to Tiff and Billy. That was Lily Allen. Right, it's over to you, Janie and Chris. It's your turn. Who is this and why are they in the news?
I was so amazed by Ryan and what he was doing, and that number just blew my mind, and I was right there, and I just was going for it, and, you know, things happen.
Is that recent Academy Award winner Emma Stone?
That is Emma Stone. On Sunday, she was awarded the Best Actress Academy Award for her role in Scottish-inspired film Poor Things. Two of the nominees for Best Picture were American Fiction and Anatomy of a Fall, which are also the respective campaign slogans for Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Chris, well done in getting the right answer. We were hearing from Emma Stone there. Were you pleased to see her win the award for Best Actress for a second time?
I really loved Poor Things. I thought it was a fantastic film. Like the original novel by Alistair Gray is based in Glasgow, which the film isn't. And this is a film about the body of a dead woman with the brain of a baby who becomes a sex worker in a retro-futuristic past. But we can't set it in Glasgow because that would be weird.
Billy, I could hear you agreeing with that. Are you pleased to see Emma Stone win for Best Actress a second time?
Yes, she's an amazing actress. The only thing that bothers me, though, is how people react to a second-time Academy Award winner. Because sometimes they act like, you know, when you go to a raffle and someone wins a second prize? And like, they're all kind of like going, pat it back. You're like, no. I'm taking my Malibu and my Africa Link set. Thank you very much.
It should have been me.
Oh.
I'm serious. I was in a film about a killer sloth.
I saw it, Slaughterhouse.
Yes.
It's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, you can watch it, right? It had no nominations.
What?
It's incredible.
Hang on, this isn't a joke.
It's an American... It was out in the cinemas in America.
Called?
Welcome. Slaughterhouse. Like Slaughterhouse, but with a sloth. And I just think the sloth should have been in there for Best Actress. And I should have been in for Best Supporting. I hit a killer sloth with a rush bat while singing Daphne and Celeste. And if that is not Oscar bait...
This is without a doubt the weirdest recording that I've ever been part of.
There's one time, me and my pal Monica, we did the red carpet for the BAFTAs in London, and Martin Scorsese and his wife was in front of us, and Monica did that thing. She'd on a really flimsy, long dress, and for a horrible moment, she thought on the red carpet that her dress was tucked in her knickers.
Oh.
And she's got a big Scottish voice, and she went, "Is my dress in my knickers?" And she frightened the life out of Martin Scorsese. And his wife went, "Is my dress in my knickers?" And then Judi Dench went, "Is my dress in my knickers?" She caused a panic.
No.
Of all these
A domino
women,
effect.
yeah, all feeling the backs of their legs.
Christopher Nolan's blockbuster Oppenheimer had triumphed at this year's Oscars, taking home 7 awards, including Best Actor for Cillian Murphy. Murphy revealed that although he's made 6 movies over the years with Nolan, he still hasn't got to meet any of the sisters. One day, you keep going, big man. Yeah, well done. Emma Stone is, of course, the right answer, and 2 points go to Janie and Chris. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
I'm very glad to see people winning.
That's Sir Keir Starmer there, winning £10 on a scratch card. Oh, the best. Right, here we go. Fingers on buzzers. What reduces anxiety by 10%? Janie.
Masturbation.
Is the wrong answer. But keep it going, we might get there. What reduces anxiety? That was you. That was you. I didn't mean that. We're back in, remember? Quick fire round, quick fire round. What reduces anxiety by 10%? Billy.
Changing the size of the font of the word anxiety.
The most brilliantly specific answer we've ever had. What reduces anxiety by 10%? Tiffany.
Increasing your baseline anxiety by 90% by sculling 5 coffees.
It might surprise you, that's not the answer. It's on the BBC website. The actual answer is this. What reduces anxiety by 10%? Counting butterflies. Research suggests a reduction in anxiety of almost 10% when taking part in the big butterfly count.
I'm very glad to see people winning.
Oh, there's a klaxon. It means Keir has stammered. It's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Tiff Stevenson and Billy Kirkwood. And commiserations to Janie Godley and Chris Thorburn. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news, just in. A 27-stone tiger has had root canal treatment after breaking a 9-centimetre long tooth. The procedure required 3 dentists, and the 3rd dentist made sure to use far more anaesthetic than the first 2. Journalists at STV are set to go on strike over pay after talks with management broke down. The journalists are preparing their chants for the picket line. What do we want? Better pay. When do we want it? Right after the break. And Queen Camilla has been immortalised in plastic with her very own Barbie doll. The Queen said she hopes the doll will inspire little girls to dare to dream that they too could grow up to one day wreck the first marriage of a future monarch. The news is broken. I've been Des Clarke. Goodbye!
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.